Usually when we think about like crystals, we picture something very specific.
Right, yeah. We picture those sharp, jagged points.
Exactly. It's like frozen lightning, right? You look at a raw quartz point and it looks, I don't know, intense, like it belongs in a laser beam or some high-tech sci-fi
Yeah,
device.
it looks almost surgical, really. I
Yeah.
mean, we naturally associate those sharp geometric points with, like, cutting through something,
Mm-hmm.
directing a very concentrated, almost aggressive beam of energy. It implies absolute precision.
But then you step into a modern metaphysical shop or, you're just scrolling through social media or maybe you just look over at your coworker's desk.
Which happens a lot lately.
Right. And the visual landscape is just entirely different. Suddenly, sitting right next to the laptop is this smooth, whimsical, rounded little mushroom.
Carved out of rose quartz or amethyst,
Yeah,
usually.
exactly.
Yeah.
So today we are doing a deep dive into a stack of metaphysical texts, cultural lore, and crystal healing guides to answer a very weird question.
Why are highly logical, tech-obsessed desk workers suddenly placing ancient stones carved into the shape of forest fungi next to their monitors?
Yes, because for you listening, you've probably seen these things everywhere. So, okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even begin?
Well, it is a massive departure from the traditional jagged points, and it points to a fascinating psychological and energetic shift in what people are actively seeking out right now.
Because before we can get into the purported energetic mechanics, like what these crystals are actually believed to do to human biology or spiritual fields, we really have to understand the symbol itself.
The shape matters
Yeah.
a lot.
Right. Looking at the cultural lore across various societies, the mushroom isn't just a cute woodland aesthetic. Universally, they represent profound growth, transformation, renewal.
In the cycle of life, yeah. I mean, they are nature's ultimate recyclers.
Wow. Yeah, recyclers.
In many ancient traditions, mushrooms symbolize fertility, good fortune, and this intrinsic link between life and death, because they literally transform decaying matter into new life.
But beyond the heavy life and death symbolism, there is, an undeniable playfulness to them.
Oh, absolutely.
You look at a tiny carved crystal mushroom, and it almost forces a physiological response. You smile, it evokes a sense of joy and lightheartedness.
What's fascinating here is how the physical shape of a crystal completely changes how humans interact with its energy.
I wonder if the appeal is similar to how we view actual mushrooms in nature. Like, if you think about it, you can walk through your yard one evening and see absolutely nothing.
Just grass and
Just grass. And the next morning, boom, a mushroom has popped up overnight.
right out of nowhere.
Yeah. It represents this sudden burst of growth, a completely new beginning that just appears when you weren't looking.
That sudden appearance is key. But let's take that biological reality a step further, because the metaphysical community certainly does.
Okay, how so?
Well, that overnight growth doesn't actually come from nowhere. It is the sudden, visible culmination of a massive, unseen underground network.
Oh, the mycelium.
Exactly, the mycelium. It's been working beneath the surface for months or even years. So, for individuals navigating a major life transition, say a career change or a personal reinvention, the mushroom shape serves as a physical reminder.
A reminder to have faith in the unseen groundwork.
Yes, it's the visual promise that profound change can manifest rapidly, even if you feel like you've been stuck in the dirt for a long time.
So the shape itself is loaded with psychological meaning. But mechanically, looking at the energy work guides we've gathered, how does taking a piece of raw quartz and carving it into this specific organic shape actually change how a human interacts with it?
Well, think about the physics of shape. We mentioned that a sharp point acts like a laser, right?
Focusing energy into a directed, intense beam.
Yeah. But the rounded, organic shape of a mushroom changes the energetic output entirely. It diffuses it.
Diffuses it like a soft glow instead of a spotlight.
Exactly. Rather than being surgical or directive, the energy becomes ambient, supportive. The lore suggests these rounded crystals don't force an outcome. They act as gentle guides for individuals embarking on new, uncertain paths.
But, that sudden overnight growth of the cap doesn't just happen in a vacuum, does it?
No, it needs a base.
Right. There's an entire unseen foundation required to push that cap up, which leads us to the physical structure of the crystal itself, starting from the bottom, the stalk.
Yes, you can't reach upward without a foundation. The metaphysical texts break down the anatomy of the mushroom shape mechanically.
So you have this wide base at the bottom.
Supported by a sturdy, dense stalk, yeah. And energetically, this design is meant to anchor you. It promotes a profound sense of rootedness, stability, and security.
Now, the healing guides make a really specific point here about modern society, but I have to be kind of skeptical here.
Oh, go for it.
I mean, I'm staring at a screen for 10 hours a day, I'm swimming in emails.
We all are.
How is a tiny stone mushroom sitting next to my mouse pad supposed to anchor my energy? Like, mechanically, what is actually happening here? Or is this just, I don't know, a nostalgic longing for the outdoors because we never see the sun?
I get the skepticism, but it is much more than nostalgia. It's actually a very real psychological and tactile mechanism.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about the sensory experience of your hyperdigital life. Your environment is basically comprised of flat glass screens, smooth plastic keys, and just non-stop ethereal digital notifications.
Yeah, ping, ping, ping all day.
Exactly. It is entirely cerebral. You basically exist from the neck up, which is highly anxiety-inducing.
Right, it's a constant state of frictionless floating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that floating creates chronic stress. By having a tangible piece of nature, even a stylized carved one sitting on your desk, you are physically interrupting that digital feedback loop.
Like a physical grounding wire.
Right. When you reach out and wrap your fingers around that wide, heavy stone stalk, it provides tactile gravity. It physically pulls your focus out of the digital ether and snaps your consciousness back into the physical room you were sitting in.
So the physical density of the object acts as an anchor for the scattered mind.
It does. And in metaphysical terms, the stalk acts almost like a conduit or a straw.
A straw.
Yeah, the belief is that it pulls grounding energy up from the earth. That heavy base literally grounds your attention, pulling you out of your racing, anxious mind and anchoring your energetic frequency into a centered, heavy state of being.
Because you cannot grow if you are easily blown over by the slightest breeze.
Exactly. You need that stability.
That makes total sense. You need that heavy-rooted foundation before you can deal with the chaos of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And once that stalk has grounded you, once your anxiety is pulled down out of your chest, you finally have the stability required to do deeper emotional work. Which brings us to the top half of the crystal.
The cap.
The cap.
The cap introduces a major shift in the type of energetic mechanics we were talking about.
Right, because while the stalk is all about firmness, gravity, and anchoring,
the broad, gently rounded shape of the cap is designed for nurturing, protective energy.
the healing guides detail how this creates a safe space for emotional healing. It's supposed to help users release heavy, negative emotions, things like fear, anxiety, sadness, without feeling exposed.
It acts as vital support during life transitions, like a messy breakup or moving to a new city.
It sounds to me like the broad, rounded cap acts almost like an umbrella.
Ooh, I like that.
Like it creates this safe, shielded microenvironment underneath it where a person finally feels secure enough to unpack all the emotional baggage they've been lugging around.
An umbrella is a really good starting point because it shields you from the storm. But let's look at the metaphysical mechanics of that rounded shape again. It acts more like an energetic diffuser.
Oh, so?
Well, when you're constantly bombarded by external stressors, your emotional defenses are always up. You are tense. You're braced for impact.
Right.
You can't process your underlying anxiety if you are actively defending against a perceived threat.
Because your nervous system thinks a tiger is chasing you, even if it's just a Slack message from your boss.
Exactly. So if a sharp crystal point projects energy outward like a spear,
which would just add to the tension.
right, the rounded cap takes ambient energy and disperses it softly, creating a glowing radius of safety. The supportive, diffusing energy of that rounded shape naturally encourages you to drop those defenses.
You stop bracing for an attack because the sharpness is just gone.
Yes. And once you feel nurtured and protected inside that symbolic canopy, you can finally look inward.
Which the guides say is crucial.
The lore insists this process of introspection is essential. You can finally look at your negative feelings, understand where they come from, and transform them into positive resilience. You stop fighting the emotional current and start understanding its flow.
Okay, so we've got the heavy stalk holding us steady in a chaotic world, and the diffusing canopy giving us a safe space to clear out our emotional baggage. With the baggage cleared out, the energy actually has somewhere to go. It can move. And here's where we see the true duality of the mushroom shape. It is firmly grounded at the base, but it is fundamentally designed to expand upward.
It is the ultimate bridge.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The metaphysical texts map this specific geometric structure directly to Kundalini energy.
Yes, they do.
Now, for anyone who isn't deep into esoteric energy work, What exactly is Kundalini? What are chakras? And why is the mushroom cap the specific key to unlocking this process?
Okay, let's break it down. In ancient Eastern spiritual traditions, Kundalini is a form of primal life force energy, but it sits completely dormant, coiled up at the very base of your spine.
Which is your root chakra, right?
Exactly, the root chakra. Most people go their whole lives without ever tapping into it. Now, the chakras are essentially energetic hubs running up the center of your body.
Okay.
The goal of Kundalini awakening is to uncoil that dormant energy at the base and pull it upward through the spine, activating every single chakra along the way until it bursts out of the top of your head.
And that's your crown chakra.
Your crown chakra, yes.
The crown chakra being our energetic connection to the spiritual realm or the universe or, higher consciousness.
Correct. And if you look at the anatomy of the mushroom crystal, it is quite literally a biological map of this exact spiritual journey.
Right, okay.
The dense base is the root chakra. The slender stalk represents the human spine, acting as the channel. And the broad, blossoming cap represents the fully opened crown chakra at the top of the head, expanding outward into the spiritual realm.
It functions almost like a spiritual antenna.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Like the stalk is the heavy metal mass planted firmly deep in the ground so it doesn't blow over in the wind.
Right.
And the broad cap is the satellite dish at the very top, opening up to receive intuitive guidance and signals from the universe.
It is like a satellite dish, yes, but with a crucial difference.
What's that?
Well, a standard satellite just receives data passively. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the underlying philosophy here implies this shape creates an active biofeedback loop. Yeah, you pull Earth energy up the stalk, it blossoms out the cap to the universe, and then cosmic insight or intuition filters back down through the cap into the stalk and anchors back into the Earth. It is a complete energetic circuit.
Which perfectly explains why these guides consider it so incredibly powerful for meditation. It's not just about staying tethered to the Earth, it's about what you can safely reach for once you are tethered.
And that structural integrity is everything. If you just have a satellite dish floating in the air without a grounded mast, it's useless, right? You are ungrounded, flighty, lost in the clouds.
Just receiving a bunch of noise.
Exactly. Conversely, a mast with no dish at the top is just a heavy pole stuck in the dirt. You are rigid, stuck in survival mode, entirely devoid of inspiration.
So you really need both.
You do. The blend of grounding and ascension energies allows you to explore deeper meditative states and enhance your intuition safely. You remain adaptable to earthly changes while reaching for higher consciousness.
It's an energetic harmony.
Very much so.
But this profound alignment of emotional and spiritual well-being doesn't just stay in the ether. According to the lore, this energetic circuit naturally bleeds over into the physical meat suit, the body.
Yes, the physical vessel.
We start seeing claims about physical healing properties associated with these crystals.
We do. The guides suggest that crystals like amethyst, when carved into this specific mushroom geometry, actively balance the energy across the mind, body, and spirit. And by achieving that perfect equilibrium, users report the alleviation of various physical ailments.
They claim it supports the immune system, reduces inflammation, and promotes overall physical health.
Right.
But I have to push back hard here. I'm naturally skeptical when a rock claims to cure a cold.
Totally fair.
Mechanically, what is the argument here? Is the physical healing really believed to be a direct magical result of the crystal emitting some measurable frequency? Or is it more of a psychological domino effect?
What do you mean by domino effect?
Well, meaning the crystal acts as a constant visual cue on my desk, which prompts me to do some deep breathing, which reduces my stress levels, and we know medically that reducing stress improves immune function.
This raises an important question, and it's really the crux of the debate between modern science and metaphysical practice. And frankly, the answer depends on which lens you are looking through.
Okay.
Because both mechanisms are simultaneously at play in these texts.
Well, let's start with the psychological domino effect, because that feels very, tangible.
It is highly tangible. The field of psychoneuroimmunology studies exactly this.
Wait, psychoneural what?
Psychoneuroimmunology. It's the study of how psychological states, like stress, physically affect your immune system. We have mountains of clinical data showing that chronic, unmanaged stress triggers a cascade of cortisol.
The stress hormone.
Right, and that cortisol physically degrades the immune system, slows digestion, and causes systemic inflammation.
So you're just constantly inflamed.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you place a mushroom-shaped crystal in your workspace, it serves as a persistent tactile cue. When you look at it or touch it, it interrupts the stress cycle. It reminds you to unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and take a deep breath.
And that breaks the loop.
Exactly. By breaking that cortisol loop, the crystal is actively participating in your physical healing journey.
So it's not necessarily that the rock is magically curing the cold. It's that the rock is curing the stress that prevents your body from naturally fighting the cold.
From a psychological standpoint, yes. It motivates the user to pursue healthier habits by fostering a mindset open to recovery.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the other side?
Right. We also have to respect the metaphysical claims presented in the lore. To a crystal practitioner, everything in the universe is vibrating at a specific frequency.
Including our bodies.
Including us, yes. When a human body is sick or stressed, its energetic frequency is basically out of tune.
Like an instrument playing a flat note.
Precisely. The belief is that a crystalline structure, like rose quartz, holds a perfect, unchanging vibrational frequency.
Okay.
When you carve it into the shape of a mushroom, a shape that naturally diffuses and harmonizes energy, as we discussed, and you place it near a human body, the chaotic frequency of the sick person slowly entrains or syncs up with the stable frequency of the crystal.
Oh, wow. So it kind of pulls you back into tune.
Exactly. It creates the internal energetic environment where the physical body is empowered to heal itself. It balances the underlying energy so the physical biology can do what it was designed to do.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a massive amount of ground today on this deep dive, from ancient fertility symbolism and underground mycelium networks to the very modern reality of an anxious desk worker trying to find a moment of peace.
That's a lot, yeah.
If we step back and look at the whole picture provided by our sources, it becomes clear that the explosive trend of mushroom-shaped crystals isn't just a random aesthetic fad. It's not just a craving for cute desk decor.
Not at all.
The specific functional geometry of these stones dictates their unique value. Whether you are actively trying to map your chakras and awaken dormant kundalini energy, or, you simply want a heavy tactile reminder on your desk to take a deep breath and pull your brain out of the digital ether.
Shape absolutely matters.
It really does. The heavy, earthy stalk anchors you to the present moment. The rounded diffusing cap protects you from the noise, and the combination of the two provides the stable foundation required to safely grow.
It truly is a profound encapsulation of the human experience.
Yeah.
And I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder that builds on the biology of the symbol we've been discussing today.
I'd love to hear it.
Real mushrooms don't just grow in idyllic, sunny meadows. They naturally emerge from the ground, often thriving in the dampest, darkest, most decaying environments on Earth to bring about regeneration. They literally break down what is old, dead, and toxic to create fertile soil for the new. Right. If these carved crystals are meant to perfectly mirror that cycle of life, perhaps their greatest metaphysical lesson isn't just about passively absorbing their calming energy while we answer emails.
Right.
Perhaps having one on your desk is meant to force us to ask ourselves a much harder question. Am I, like the mushroom, finding ways to adapt, grow, and bring forth new life, even in the darkest, most stagnant, or unexpected environments?
Wow, that entirely changes how I view them. Next time you see one of those little smooth stone mushrooms sitting next to a computer monitor, you'll know exactly what kind of heavy lifting is going on beneath the surface.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, stay curious, and we'll catch you next time.